Rose kids, I'm Laura and this is my dog Cozy. I'm going to hold her up so you can see her. We are here and we are ready to do our Tuesday night together, and we are so excited that you have joined us. Hopefully your whole family's gathered around. The purpose of these nights is to allow you all to do your Bible story together, your activity page together, and have a whole bunch of fun that you don't even have to plan. You just get to play at home. So each week we have a different theme. Tonight's theme is June 9th, Renovate and Decorate. If you are not doing this on Tuesday, that's totally okay. We named this Tuesday nights together, but you can name it after whatever night. Family Fun Friday, we're all together Wednesday, whatever you want to call it. We challenge you to take one night a week together as a family, ideally the same night each week, and just do the activities together, enjoy time together, and just have some fun. We're sorry that we can't be together up at the church building with kiddos yet, but we hope that the fun will come to your very own house. So we'll go ahead and get started with our night tonight. First, what we're going to do is make some popsicles. We're going to make some popsicles, we're going to put them into the freezer, and then we are going to head to our rooms. So we're going to get our rooms decorated and renovated, and I'll kind of explain all that involves. After that, our popsicles will be frozen and then we can enjoy them. You can watch the whole video or you can pause and play the video a little at a time, whatever you find is best for you. But I'm gonna go get my apron, I'm gonna get my hands washed, and I'll see you back here. We're gonna make fruit pops, and later on we're gonna make creamy pops. The creamy ones are a little bit more difficult. You're gonna get all of your fruits together, you're gonna throw them in the blender carefully, and you bring a parent or a guardian along to help you. Don't use any of the kitchen equipment on your own, or knives. But you'll put everything in the blender and then you'll pour them into a popsicle mold. And the only ingredients that we're going to be using are strawberries cut up, watermelon cut up, and a lime zested, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. The recipe calls for 1 heaping cup of strawberries. So I'm going to cut off all the tops. Cozy hears me cutting. Hey Cozy, come on over here. Sit down, you can watch us cut. She loves when we are in the kitchen and we are cutting because she thinks that maybe, just maybe, something might fall on the floor for her. So here's about a cup. I'm going to put 1 more strawberry in there. This one looks like a good one. So now I have my heaping cup of strawberries, and I'm going to put it into my blender base. I'm going to cut the watermelon into easy to slice up slices. If you have seeds in your watermelon, then you are going to need to cut your watermelon carefully and take those seeds out. That's kind of like 1 cup right there. Here's cup number 2 going into the blender. And now we're filling cup number 3. And now what we're going to do is zest our lime. A zester can be sharp, so you want to ask a parent to do this. You're going to have to keep your hand out of the way. So I'm going to actually just take my blender base and zest straight into here. And what I'm doing is I'm capturing all this really good green on the outside of my lime. I'm going to cut my lime in half and now juice it. So I'm going to squeeze and I'm going to push this into the lime. You can see the juices coming out. And what I'm doing while I'm doing this is I'm watching to make sure that no lime seeds come out. After I've done that a little bit, you can give it a good squeeze. Now for the other half of the lime, press, juice in the second half of the lime. This is going to taste so yummy. Now I'm going to squeeze that half. I have my blender. This is going to be really loud, so beware. So it's pretty liquid. I can see little tiny flecks of green in there from I'm going to try to pour this into all 10 of these spouts. Instead of pouring over like this, it's best if you can turn your molds or whatever you're using, and you're just going to try to pour slowly and don't fill it up all the way. Things expand when they're frozen, so we are not going to fill it all the way because this is going to end up filling all the way just because it will freeze. I'm going to take my popsicle sticks. We don't want the popsicle stick to go all the way. We want it to maybe be this far in. So I'm going to need like enough room for a hand to hold the popsicle when it comes out. Alright, so that sums up our first recipe. If you are ready to get going and you made this recipe and you're ready to move on to your room, then go ahead and skip the next video. That's totally fine. These are Dutch cocoa popsicles. We are going to use 3 squares or 3 ounces of, I'm using semi-sweet chocolate, 3 cups of whole milk, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 3/4 cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons of Dutch cocoa powder unsweetened, and a teaspoon of vanilla. First we need to take 3 ounces. This is going to get put into the microwave. We are going to microwave it just for 30 seconds, and then after that just 15 seconds at a time. Put this bowl on pause and start the stovetop part. If you are doing this by yourself, then you need to go get a parent or guardian to cook with because it involves the stove. So we're going to take 3 cups of whole milk, and I'm going to turn that burner on. We're also going to put in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1/2 cup of sugar. We're going to put 3 tablespoons of this cocoa powder. I'm going to be whisking this and heating this. When this starts to warm up, we want to add the melted chocolate. So I'm going to put this back in for 15 more seconds, get it a little bit warmer. We're trying to time it so this chocolate is warm at the same time this is ready. Alright, this is much warmer. So because it's warm, I can add the warm chocolate to it. Once it starts to bubble and once it starts to boil, that's when you can take it off of the heat, and that's when we will add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So I will let this kind of fast forward until we have this at a rolling, not a rolling boil, a partial boil, and then we can take it off the heat, but keep stirring. So what we're going to do is turn the stove off and take it off the stove. We're still stirring, and we are going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. So this is everything we need for our popsicles, but we are going to let this sit for about 10-15 minutes and just let the temperature cool a little bit before we put it into the plastic molds. 12 minutes or so have passed, and this has cooled down quite a bit. Every few minutes I stirred it just so that a film wouldn't come on the top. Now this is going to be super difficult to pour into little tiny popsicle holes. So what we're going to do is put our fudgesicle, our pudding pop mixture into some sort of a pitcher. We are going to pour into all of our molds. It is hot, beware. Pour very slowly. So we're going to put this in the freezer, and now you all can go head to your rooms. And now we are in our room. Well, this is my room. This is my bed. This is where I live, and I'm inviting you, after you watch this video, to go to your room and do what we're talking about. Now, I'm well aware that cleaning your room is zero fun, and I'm very sorry about that. And so what if this summer you could just try it as a little experiment? You just cleaned your room and then kept it clean, so you never had to clean your room. So when you take clothes off, go ahead and put them in a dirty clothes basket. When you play with something in your room, put it away right when you're done, and that will prevent you from having to put everything away all at once. Now, I'm going to tell you a story when I was a little girl about how messy my room was. Now, I had just gotten into 6th grade, so I was a little bit older than you all are now, and my mom made brownies for me to take to my teacher, my homeroom teacher, for Christmas. So at the beginning of December, she made brownies, and she put them in this little plastic container with a card, and I wrote this card out to my teacher saying Merry Christmas and thank you for teaching me. And I went to school and I forgot to give my teacher the brownies. And the next day I forgot, and the next day I forgot, and then I got so embarrassed because I had these brownies in my backpack that were almost 2 weeks old. And I thought, there's no way I can give these old brownies to my teacher. I was so embarrassed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to tell my mom. I didn't want to tell my teacher. So I hid the brownies. And guess where I hid them? Under my bed. I hid the brownies under my bed at the end of school, right before Christmas break. And then I just forgot about them. My room was such a mess. I had clothes on the floor. I had clothes stuffed under my bed. I had a different bed then where you could put stuff underneath of it. And my room was a wreck. I didn't even think about it. Then that next summer, 7 months later, my mom said, hey, it's the beginning of summer. Let's clean our room. Just like I'm telling you now, let's clean our room. And then she got under my bed and started pulling things out. And she pulled out those brownies and they were covered in mold. You couldn't even tell that they were brownies. The whole container, inside and out, it was horrible. So I learned my lesson that having a nice clean room is good, and I hope that you all can do that, and I hope that you can keep a clean room and that you don't have a pigsty like I used to have a pigsty. So I try to keep my room pretty clean, but today I'm challenging you to clean up your room, both pick it up, like the mess, and then clean it up. Vacuum, dust, have it cleaned up. And let me give you a secret. Our rooms are easier to clean when you don't have as much stuff in there. If you have a whole bunch of little trinkets around and a whole bunch of stuff on your floor, then it's very hard to vacuum, it's very hard to dust, and it's not fun to play in. My room is a lot of floor, there's a lot of floor space. I don't have a whole bunch of stuff in here, so it's easy for me to get a project out on the floor, to lay on my floor and read, and I have a lot of space to do what I want every day. So what I would love for all of you is to have a good, clean, safe space in your home that's comfy and it's easy for you to navigate in. So in your email this week, I've attached this document. If you just print it out, or you don't have to print it out, you can just make it, or you can just, remember. But then you're going to get 4 bins. And what I'm going to challenge you to do is take these 4 bins and put one of these signs on each bin. Then you're going to do something crazy. You're going to take all your stuff out of your closet, out from under your bed, off of your floor, and you're going to put it in these 4 bins. So I've got some tape here. I'm going to make this bin. This is my laundry basket. We're just borrowing it for this right now. I'm going to make this my give bin. Okay? So I'm putting a piece of tape on it, and this bucket is going to be what I put everything that I want to give to somebody in. So I'm going to talk through each thing. When you come across something that's supposed to be in your room, like I always have this little light Lumiere here on my nightstand, like he's going to stay here. But there's some stuff in my room that, like here's a magazine that I read the other day. If I'm done with reading the magazine, I might be like, this is a great magazine. I'm going to give this to a friend. Might put it in there. So everything is going to go in your 4 bins. So the give bin is for you to give to a friend or someone. Don't give them trash and junk, but give them things that you think maybe they would use. At church, there are a whole bunch of kids who are smaller than you and younger than you, and they might really enjoy some of the clothes that you've grown out of or that you have too many of. So put that stuff in your give bin. Give somebody a call this week. Call them and tell them you're dropping off a whole bunch of presents for them, and they're probably going to be so excited to have some new things that are old to you but new to them. The next label is store. That doesn't mean a store like the grocery store, but this means something to store like in a closet or in the basement. This is not for you to keep stuff that you don't want to deal with. This is for you to keep things like memories. Maybe you made a really special piece of art that you don't really want in your room anymore, but you want to hold on to it for when you get older to look back and see what kind of art you did when you were little. So this is for store, so that is going to not have very many things. Try not to have a whole bunch of stuff in storage. The next sign is, I'll do this one next, trash. Trash is easy to understand. You don't even need a bin. Just get a trash bag or a trash can, trash bin, whatever you have in your house, you put trash in. And then if you find stuff on your floor that's trash, then throw it away. If it's broken, never gonna use it, not good for anybody else to use, throw it out. So that's trash. Maybe it's clothes that are holey and they've got holes in them and they're just too old to be used. Make them into rags or throw them away. Next thing is donate. This one is near and dear to Miss Sherry's heart. Miss Sherry volunteers at a place called High Point, and some of you may have heard of it. Some of you may go there to get some things for your own homes or your own food, for your own pantries. At High Point, they have just reopened donations. So you can donate clothes, you can donate food, you can donate shoes. You might have some stuff at your home that you think, you know what, like I have grown out of all these jeans, they're all too short to me, but they still have a lot of life in them. Please donate them to High Point. High Point is in LaGrange, and I'm going to put information about how to drop stuff off in your email this week. But what you can do is donate your whole donate bin to High Point, and they're going to make sure that it goes to a family that needs it and a family that would appreciate it. So this is going to be your challenge. You can set a timer, set a watch, whatever it is. Figure out how long you think you want to challenge yourself to clean your room. Both the mess, pick up the mess, and the vacuuming, dusting. Make it all spick and span, and then you're going to race to clean it. And then I'm going to meet you back in another corner of my room. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you the next part of our journey. Now, let me tell you, while you are doing all this cleaning and all this stuff, do your very best to think about creating a simple home for you to enjoy all summer. You don't need a whole bunch of stuff in your room. You're going to have such a great imagination to find all these things to play in your room. You don't need a whole bunch of toys in there. Good luck, have fun, and you can do this. Okay, this is the last part of cleaning your room, and then we're going to go eat popsicles. So you might think it's funny that I'm an adult and I'm sitting at a little tiny table and chairs, but I sit here every day. This is a table and chairs that I got when I was 3 or 4 years old, and I have just kept it, and I kept it in my room, and I have a devotional book on it that I read. I have my Bible, I have a journal, I have some pens, pencils, and some highlighters that I can highlight in my Bible. And I didn't just set this up for the movie. This is really here, and this is really what I do. So each day I wake up and I spend just a few minutes with God and invite Him into my day and read my devotion for the day, and this is where I do it. So I'm encouraging you now to make a space in your room for you to spend time with God. So we give out activity pages every week from church, and we're sending you activity pages at home. Doing time with God at a space that's designated for time with God is such a good idea. This can be like a little reading nook. Maybe you have a bean bag, or you pull in a chair from your playroom, or maybe you just have a pillow corner where you put a few pillows in a corner and you can be cozy and read your Bible there, read a devotional, do your activity pages. But now your challenge is to find a spot in your room that is designated for you to spend time with God. I also wanted to encourage you to make your room something that is personal to you. And this is something that is on my wall all the time. And my brother calls it my dream collage. But this is just a whole bunch of things that I've cut out of a magazine, and I put with paste onto a poster board, and then I actually got it laminated so it would stay. And it's just a whole bunch of things that I think remind me of who I want to be. And so it encourages me to get out and be who I want to be and who I believe that God has called me to be. Now that your room is clean, you got your 4 bins finished, put all of your trash into the trash can in the garage or outside. Put all of your gift stuff into a spot near the door or in your car so you can take it to your friend. Put all your donate stuff into your car so you can take it to High Point. And the storage stuff, go ahead and store it in your basement or your closet or wherever you're going to store things. After you do all that and your room's all clean and you got your little reading nook set up, maybe you want to do a collage or something that you can personalize your room with. After you do that, we're going to meet back in the kitchen for popsicles. Alright, I hope that you are done with your room and that it looks amazing. Please remember to send me a video. You can do a tour, show me everything that you've done, show me your nook that you've set up to read and to spend time with God. So I've already taken the fruit popsicles out. They just look like this little guy. You can kind of see the little strawberry seeds in there, which I love. Now for our pudding pops, so to make the coating, we are going to dump our whole bag of white chocolate chips into a microwave safe container with the coconut oil. We need 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. Coconut oil will just kind of mix on in, so don't need to worry about mixing it up yet. Just kind of get it started melting, and then you can mix it in there. Measurements don't need to be super exact for this one. So I'm going to start it at just 30 seconds. So that coconut oil melted pretty quick, but not the white chips. But it will help the white chips melt. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a good stir. So I have finished stirring up the white chocolate and coconut oil, and it took less than 1 minute in the microwave and probably 3 minutes of stirring. So I did it for 30 seconds, then 15, and then another 10, and stirred a whole bunch in between. So now you can scrape out the inside of a vanilla bean and put it in, or I'm just going to use vanilla bean paste. Just 1 teaspoon of paste equals 1 vanilla bean. So the next thing we need to do is dip our pops into our magic shell. So to get our popsicles out, I've let them sit outside of the freezer for just a couple minutes, and I'm going to run this under hot water in the sink for a few seconds on each pop. Okay, they have had hot water run over them maybe 10 or 15 seconds, and as you can see, they can slide out now. We're going to dip, set them on the tray, and put them in the freezer all very quickly. Alright, so here is our final product. If you want for your white chocolate coating to not mix with your fudgesicle as it melts, then after you take your fudgesicles out, you can just freeze them for a little bit before you start dipping them. Hope you had fun today, and I'll see you next week for our indoor